was erected 800 years later and could be seen near our bus stop. The castle was once surrounded by a moat, the other end of the King's Fish Pond, which we saw earlier. The large crack in the stonework was caused by subsidence in 1360, and in 1684 it lost its roof when a powder magazine blew up after a 7-gun salute. The military didn't learn their lesson. Another salute a few years later blew the gunner off the top of the wall. Fortunately for him, there was still a moat there, and he landed in the water. Part of the stonework is missing as well. It was discovered that one jailer in charge was selling the castle stone by stone, but working from the inside so that nobody noticed. The castle was used both as a military and a civilian jail, and was often the site of disputes between the city authorities and the military who were garrisoned here. This area is known as the Eye of York, and always had a special status outside the control of the city authorities, only becoming part of the city in 1974. Clifford's Tower itself is looked after by English Heritage, and a walkway round the top offers excellent views of York and the surrounding area. The castle was another of York's places of execution. A rebellion against Henry VIII in 1536 led to its leader, Robert Aske, being hung in chains from the tower. He took a week to die, and his body was left there for a year as a warning to others. Sir Robert Clifford and 4 magistrates defended the mound against William the Conqueror's army in 1069. It is claimed that the 5 lions on York's coat of arms represent their stand. If you go inside the tower, you will see that the walls are stained red by the heat of the fire in 1684, when the powder magazine blew up. As we leave our stop and head for Castle Mills, you will see the remaining part of the Great Wall, which surrounded the castle until the 1930s. We cross the River Foss again, passing the watermill, which was moved, stone by stone, from Raindale near Pickering to be re-erected here as part of the museum in the 1960s. As we cross Castle Mills Bridge, Fishergate Postern Tower is straight ahead of us. This was where the city wall met the King's Fish Pond, and as we turn left into Piccadilly, we are driving where the River Foss used to be. As we turn right into Leadmill Lane, look to your right at the stone projection on the wall of the tower. This is known as a garderobe, and that was the toilet for the defenders of the wall at this point. On the left, as we go up Leadmill Lane, you will see the graveyard of St George's Church. The large grave is where Dick Turpin was buried after his execution on the Knavesmire. Don't let anybody tell you that the grave is so large because his horse is buried with him. The famous ride from London to York was actually performed by another highwayman, John Nevison, and Turpin's first visit to York was at his trial. St George's Catholic Church on the corner of Margaret Street was built for the Irish immigrants who came to this part of York to escape the potato famine in the 1840s. If you look carefully, you will see St George fighting his dragon. We are in Margaret Street, and at the end of the street you will see the gateway to St Margaret's Church in front of us. The church is now redundant and has become the National Centre for Early Music. St Margaret's Church is a Norman porch, brought here from the Church of St Nicholas on Hull Road, which was destroyed in 1644. As we pass the shops in Warmgate, look for the 14th century Bowes Morel house on the right. This is one of the few remaining timber-framed buildings in York, and it has an interesting history. 80 years ago, it was Kilmartin's lodging house, full of Irish labourers and occasionally people on the run. There were only 18 beds, so anybody else had to sleep hanging over the rope, which was fastened across the room. If you ever wondered how the expression, "you can sleep on a clothesline," came about, now you know. A bed cost 4p a night, but going on the rope was free. The doors were locked at 11:30, and anyone who came in drunk was put in the shed at the back with the pigs and the hens. Ahead of us is Warmgate Bar, the only one of the 4 main gates to retain its barbican. The Elizabethan extension on the inside was a gatekeeper's house. The portcullis and inner oak gate are still there. The barbican was a double gateway, and this is the last one left on a city wall in this country. There are only 2 others in the world. Anyone wanting to come into the city had to pass through both sets of gates, giving the guards a chance to inspect them from the walls before admitting them. The outer gate, which no longer exists, was made of iron.